back to the channel, everybody. I hope you guys enjoy the intro. Today we got some pretty cool. We're taking a look at the Geissele URGI. Now the URGI is the next evolution in the M4 carbine upgrading program. Before you had the Block 2 and the Block series. This time SOCOM decided to go with Geissele for their next contract, and they provided them with the upper receiver group improved. The biggest change with the URGI came in the form of three major things. One, you had an improvement to overall sighting systems and optics. Two, you had an upgraded rail system, kind of evolving with the way the AR market and the firearms market is evolving today. We're starting to see a lot more M-LOK, actual handguards in circulation. And the military is really slow to adopt with those sort of things. So when the URGI came about into existence, they wanted to incorporate that M-LOK rail. So you see the Geissele Mark 16 rail right here. Another big change that you saw with the URGIs was the actual gas system. So prior, with all the other service weapons, they were a carbine length gas system because they were built off the original M4 platform of rifles. The URGI actually has a mid-length gas system. So it extends that gas system out just a little bit further and overall makes for a softer shooting rifle and a more pleasant firearm to shoot. The URGI is currently being fielded by USAF, or the United States Army Special Operations Command. The 75th Ranger Regiment heavily uses these rifles, both in the full-length 14.5 variant like we have here, as well as the smaller 11.5 variant, which replaced the Mark 18, henceforth known as the Mark 18 Block 3, supposedly. Just like the URGI has also been coined the Block 3 of the M4A1. These rifles have exploded into popularity since they started being seen in use throughout the Ranger regiments. And that has to be because the rails and the optics and everything was pulled mostly from the civilian market. Like I said before, the military is very slow to adopt when it comes to changes and upgrades, especially with their weapon systems. But as the entire civilian firearms market is moving more towards M-LOK, and they have been doing so for the past several years, the military is finally starting to catch up, which usually is the case with most things. We're going to go ahead and go over my URGI build right here. So starting from tip to butt, just like Grand Thumb does, we have the YHM Turbo T3 suppressor. Like I've said before, this is not exactly a budget can, but it's more a budget-friendly can. It still has a stainless steel baffle stack that is fully welded and has an Inconel blast baffle, which is perforated to allow for better gas dissipation. That is paired to YHM's SRX mounting system. This is their long flash hider, which is pin and welded to this barrel to make the overall length 16 inches to make this not an SBR. Behind that, we have a Knights Armament flip-up front sight. It is NSN marked, to be clone correct. We have a PEC 15. That is all riding on the Geissele Mark 16 handguard. This is extremely tough handguard. It has a very incredible lockup towards the back. For grips, we're running the BCM M-LOK slot grips as well as the BCM Gunfighter for grip. I like this because it allows me to really pull this rifle into my shoulder and get a good grip on it. Moving back, we have a Sig Sauer Tango MSR. Commonly seen on these are anything from Night Force NX8s to a plethora of other Block 2 optics, but more commonly seen, you'll find LPVOs. We have for the receiver set, it is a Daniel Defense receiver and barrel. This one is a mid-length gas system. It does have a SOCOM profile barrel and it has a pinned low profile gas block. For lower, we have just a Colt lower with engravings done by Carolina Laser Works. For trigger, we have a Geissele SSA trigger. I love these triggers. I run them in all my guns, including my Mark 12. You have a BCM Gunfighter grip, Magpul PMag, LMT Stop Mod stock. We're running an H3 buffer because this gun is primarily suppressed. For the rear sight, we're running a Knights Armament 300 to 600 meter flip-up rear sight. And for charging handle, we have a PRI M84 Gas Buster charging handle. The heavy buffer paired with a charging handle, paired with a can, makes this gun extremely pleasant to shoot. It doesn't recoil very much at all. So I guess the next question is why? Why the URGI? Why all this new fancy stuff when the Block 2 has been in existence for, decades now. And I think that really just comes down to, the age of the technology and the way that the firearms market is moving and what it's going to. We're starting to see less and less quad rails and old, blocky red dots, and the entire industry is starting to move towards, towards LPVOs and M-LOK and, a slimmer profile weapon system, a lighter profile weapon system. The mid-length gas system is becoming more and more prevalent. Whenever this weapon was first adopted, the mid-length gas system was relatively new at the time, at least in the military side. And, that was a game changer. Less gas to the face. We learned a lot of lessons with the whole Block 2 program in GWAT. And this just goes to show that SOCOM knows what the heck they're doing when they're choosing a weapon system for their guys. This rifle and this platform is an example of hundreds and hundreds of hours of, men and women making sacrifices and testing and shooting and research and development to provide a platform that will just be the next evolution in the M4's story. So it's cool to see that the M-LOK rail platform with magnified optics is somewhat becoming the gold standard now. I mean, you see that same trend when it comes to like the SIG XM7 or their new belt feds XM250. They're all using some sort of magnified optic with M-LOK rails and just a slimmer profile. Although the new M7 weighs like a bag of bricks, the same somewhat mindset and doctrine is still there. So with that being said, again, this has been such an excellent weapon to shoot. You can really tell that SOCOM did their homework when they were choosing a platform for all their guys. And this is definitely a direct reflection of that. This rifle shoots beautifully. It's extremely balanced. It feels natural and comfortable. And it's awesome to see the military finally starting to evolve with the same trends that the civilian market is going to go to. All right, so final thoughts, right? The URGI. Is it a little bit expensive to build? Yeah. Most of these parts are premium components. They weren't cheap. However, if you have the means, please build one. Experience it. The Geissele name has such a reputation within the firearms community. Geissele plays ball. We're going to say that. But final thoughts about the URGI. I can totally understand why SOCOM chose it for their guys. I mean, I think that this weapon will serve our men and women very, very well, long to the future. And I think that the evolution of the M4 platform will continue to grow, and hopefully our guys will not receive the M7. I would much rather have to carry this, on a deployment than I would have to carry an M7. I'll say that much for sure. But thank you guys again for taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions or you'd like to make a comment about any information that was presented in this video, please do so in the comments. There will be more content coming forward. I would have liked to got this video out sooner. However, I was away on a TDY for some training, so I was gone for a while. I'm finally able to get this content out to you guys. I know it's been a little bit, but stay tuned for more content about the URGI, as well as the Block 2 and the Mark 12. If you guys enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family. Last thing, go shoot, go train. You can spend thousands of dollars on something like this, but if you don't know how to do it, or if you don't know how to shoot it and you don't know what the heck you're doing, congratulations, you just bought a gun for somebody else who's going to shoot you and take your weapon system. So go train, go hit the gym, eat good, spend time with your family, get off your phone, take a break from screens, and make something out of yourselves. But with that, you guys have a great day. I'll catch you guys later.